problem of exercise in the past has been that everyone tries to make it harder, more difficult, more unpleasant, more painful. And so most people are conditioned not to want to do it. And especially when people get older, they no longer even think about exercising anymore. And so that has a tremendous deteriorative effect on their health and lives. And so there must be a way in which people can very simply exercise for the rest of their life and until the day they finally die and maintain their health. Okay, so let's begin with a review of 5 exercises that I call the Easy 5, and then a second group that I call the Advanced 5, and finally the Bodybuilders 5, so that if a person does the complete cycle of 15 exercises, they can pretty much maintain themselves at a very high level. And a person who just wants to maintain their basic movements for the day and warm up in this fashion can just be satisfied with doing the first 5. Okay? So, the exercises are making a fist and bending in a palmward direction. Notice I'm also moving my head left and right. So the important parts of my body that has to move are the extremities of the head, the hands, and the feet. Because everything, all the other muscles are connected to the muscles at the extremities. And when you cause a alternation of contraction and relaxation at the points at the extremities, then you're creating a pumping effect, just like the heart. So, and that is the real weakness of the human body, is the fact that, not that the heart, which, has to contract 100,000 times each day, even if you don't do anything more. Well, the heart's just the given. Everything else is the variable. So this movement is with the legs. So those are the first 5 exercises. Then the second 5 is a little more advanced, and this is the rowing movement. This is what a person does to row a boat. And it's also known as the weightlifter's movement, because thrusting the hips forward from the backward position is what moves the body mass to lift a weight. This movement is the torso rotation, or what they call the torso pullover, or the throwing movement. The arms are drawing back and then moving forward and then finally back as far as possible. Okay, so it simulates the throwing movement. This movement here, pushing out directly forward, is very similar to what they call the bench press, or more familiar, the push-up. Okay, the push-up is simply starting with your arms at your side and then moving your arms forward. That movement alone causes the muscle to contract. The essential movement of the legs is simply a slight knee dip directly onto your toes. Slight knee dip directly onto your toes. That is the action of jumping, running, walking, cycling, all the essential useful movements of the legs. This is a movement of raising my toes while also pushing away from a stationary object. So this is like doing a standing push-up. Notice the vigor in which I'm moving my head. See, I'm allowing my head to move up and down. Okay, the final 5 begins with the standing swim. Okay? And people are surprised that just doing a count of 50 of these totally exhausts their shoulders. It's like swimming in the ocean, standing. The next movement is a double bicep pump, or single bicep pump. It's very common among the bodybuilders, okay? Then the rotation of the shoulder forward. So this is working the rotator cuff of the shoulders. And this is a movement that's very familiar to people observing sports activities, that a person raises their arms in triumph. Okay, this is also the weightlifters movement. They're lifting weight overhead. And finally, we go back to doing a arm bend with the knuckles moving, with the fist moving in a knuckleward direction, just like running. So that takes us complete circle back to how simple it is to maintain our health. And so in the future, in order for people to maintain a vigorous and healthy lives for the full length of time, which may be 90, 100 years, you know, there has to be a way in which they can easily exercise and maintain their optimal health. And this is all that's required. That they have to maintain the circulation to the extremities of the head, the hands, and the feet. Because this is where the body begins to deteriorate in every case.